श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। नमः सभाभ्यः सभापतिभ्यश्च वो नमः। आलम्बे जगदालम्बं हेरम्बचरणाम्बुजं शुष्यन्ति यद्रजस्पर्शात् सद्यः प्रत्यूहवार्धयः। वेदण्डास्यं गिरां देवीं सद्गुरोः पादपङ्कजं जगद्गुरुंश्च शृङ्गाद्रिस्थितान् वन्देऽर्थसिद्धये। मालासुधा कुम्भविबोधमुद्रा विद्या विराजत्करवारिजाताम् अपारकारुण्यसुधाम्बुराशिं श्रीशारदाम्बां प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। सत्यज्ञानसुखस्वरूपममलं क्षीराब्धिमध्यस्थितम् योगारूढमतिप्रसन्नवदनं भूषा सहस्रोज्ज्वलम् त्यक्षं चक्रपिनाकसाभयवरान् बिभ्राणमर्कच्छविम् छत्रीभूतफणीन्द्रमिन्दुधवलं लक्ष्मीं नृसिंहं भजे। शङ्कारूपेण मच्चित्तं पङ्कीकृतमभूद्यया किङ्करीयस्य सा माया शङ्कराचार्यमाश्रये। प्रह्लादवरदो देवो यो नृसिंहः परो हरिः नृसिंहोपासकं नित्यं तन्नृसिंहगुरुं भजे। श्रीसच्चिदानन्दशिवाभिनव्यनृसिंहभारत्यभिधान्यतीन्द्रान् विद्यानिधीन् मन्त्रनिधीन् सदात्मनिष्ठान् भजे मानवशम्भुरूपान्। सदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः पराङ्मुखं नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखरभारतीं विवेकिनं महाप्रज्ञं धैर्यौदार्यक्षमानिधिं सदाभिनवपूर्वं तं विद्यातीर्थगुरुं भजे। अज्ञानाञ्जाह्नवीतीर्थं विद्यातीर्थं विवेकिनां सर्वेषां सुखदं तीर्थं भारतीतीर्थमाश्रये। विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विधुशेखरभारतीम्। गिरां देवी वाणी विमलगुणिनौमे च पितरौ गुरोत्तंसाः मल्लाप्रगडकुलभूषा मणिबुधः कुटुम्बाख्यः शास्त्री रसिकहृदया ये सहृदयाः निजाशीर्भिः कुर्युः सफलवचसं मां करुणया। अविद्यारण्यकान्तारे भ्रमतां प्राणिनां सदा विद्यामार्गोपदेष्टारं विद्यारण्यगुरुं श्रये। श्रीमते शङ्करार्याय धीमतेऽद्भुतशक्तये नमोऽस्त्वद्वैतसिद्धान्तस्थापनोपात्तमूर्तये। With namaskarams to the Pada Padmas of Sharadamba and Ubhay Jagadgurus, and with namaskarams to all of you. So today, second to last day of the Digvijayam series. Yesterday we discussed the Vada between Mandana Mishra and Bhagavad Pada, the subsequent argument, the Vada debate between Ubhaya Bharati Devi and Bhagavad Pada, then the Parakaya Pravesha, and then Bhagavad Pada along with Mandana Mishra, who has now taken sannyas and become Sureshwaracharya. So Bhagavad Pada along with Sureshwaracharya and Padmapada has now come to Sri Shaila to worship Mallikarjuna Swami. The last 2 days have been topics that have revolved around Shastra. So the last 2 days have been Vedanta, Shastra Charchas and Shastra Vadas. Today's topics though are all linked by the Sutra of Bhakti. They are all tied together with the theme of Bhakti. So Daiva Bhakti, Guru Bhakti, Devalayas, all of this is the main subject matter of today. So while Bhagavad Pada was staying in Sri Shaila, once a Kapalika came to him. So what we need to keep in mind is at that time in India, not all worships, and quite frankly to this day too, not all worships, not all sadhanas were sattvic. So just as there are people who did sattvic upasana, there were also people who used the 5 makaras. So these 5 makaras are used in tamasic practices. So madhya, mamsa, matsya, maithuna. So there are 5 mas that are generally not that are frowned upon by sadacharyans. So there were plenty of people that did that, lots of people giving narabali and things like that. So these Kapalikas worship Bhairava, Mahabhairava, through such tamasic practices. So one of their sect came to Bhagavad Pada when he was staying in Sri Shaila. Tatraikadachadita naijadoshaha paulastyavat kalpita sadhuveshaha nirmanamayan sthita karyasheshaha Kapalika kaschid analpadosha. So the simile that Vidyaranya Swami is using for this Kapalika is, he came to Bhagavatpada the way Ravanasura came to Sita. Paulastyavat, Paulastya is Ravanasura. Paulastyavat kalpita sadhuvesha. So like Ravana, he put on the disguise of a sadhu. So he came dressed, like a Sadacharyan would come. But then he came and he said, Namaskaram to Bhagavatpada, and he said, Bhagavatpada, he did not lie though. He did not lie to Bhagavatpada. He just came dressed and bedecked in such a way that it looked like he was a Sadacharyan. So he came to Bhagavatpada and he was very frank about what he wanted. He said, I did intense tapas for Shiva, and my goal is this. Anena dehena sahaiva gantum kailasam ishena samancha rantum is my goal. I want to go with this body to Kailasa, and I want to experience the ananda of serving Ishvara there. So that is my goal. I want to go to Kailasa with this Panchabhautika Sharira, with this gross body. And then Ishvara, so for this man's tapas, because tamasic practices, although they are tamasic, they will still bear fruition. So Ishvara appeared before him and Bhagavan said, then you need to give bali of the head of either a Chakravartin, so a king that rules the entire Khanda, or you need to give bali of the head of a Sarvajna. So if this Kapalika goes anywhere close to a king, he will have this person's head removed. So I could not get a king until now. And a Sarvajna, an all-knowing Brahmajnani, was also not available to me until now. But you, I have found you now. So therefore, Prayachashirsham Bhagavan Namastat Itirayitva Patitam Purastat Tamabravi Dvikshya Sudhir Adhastat Kripaluhu Avrittamanas Samastat. So he said, Prayachashirsham, please give me your head. And he did Namaskaram to Bhagavatpada. And if it was any one of us, we would say a hard no, and we would be in fact very scared, angry with the person. But Bhagavatpada, of course, the Visheshanas, the adjectives that Vidyaranya Swami uses shows why he was not off-put by the Kapalika's request. Kripaluhu Avritta Manaha Samastat. So he is number one, Kripalu. He has mercy. He is merciful. And Avritta Manaha Samastat. So his manas is avrittam from everything else. His manas is withdrawn from all the senses. So the reason we are attached to this body is because we have certain desires and anandas that we wish to experience, and that is only possible with this body. If you want to eat jalebi, you need a body and a tongue to experience that. If you have no desire for anything relating to taste, you have no need for the tongue. If you have no desire for anything relating to sight, you have no need for the eyes. So because Bhagavatpada was Avritta Mana, because his manas had vairagya towards everything that is external, he had no particular need for the body. So he replied, Patatyavashyam hi Patatyavashyam. This body will fall undoubtedly. Patatyavashyam hi vikrishyamanam kalena yatnadapi rakshyamanam. Varshmamuna siddhiti chet pararthaha sa eva matyasya parah pumarthaha. So he says, ayam, this shariram, avashyam patati, this will most certainly fall. It will be dragged away by kala. Vikrishyamanam kalena. So this is a yatnadapi rakshyamanam. Although a man may try to protect his body from decay, regardless, at some point, death will have to drag this body away. So therefore, if this body is used for someone else's purpose, if this body can be used to help someone else, that is the best possible use. So this is the exact response that Dahichi Maharshi gave to Indra when they asked for his backbone to defeat Vritra. He said, I have no need for this body. But if my body can be used for Loka Kalyana, so be it. So Bhagavatpada said though, make sure, I have no problem with this, but my Shishyas will have a problem. Because the Shishyas should not say, my Guru is not the body, so it is okay if the body goes. Because the Shishyas are learning from the Guru's Upadhi, right? It is the Guru's speech that is teaching them. It is the Guru's body, the feet of the Guru that they are serving. So they have a duty to protect the Guru's body. So Bhagavatpada said, if my Shishyas get word of this, if my Shishyas find out about this, they will not let you stand here. So make sure you come at a time where they are not here. So they fixed a mutually agreeable time. And when Shishyeshu Shishteshu Vidurageshu, so when all the Shishyas were off doing snana in in the Nadi there, and Patala Ganga there, the Kapalika came, and Bhagavatpada said, wait, do not take off my head while I am still Bahirmukha. I shall go into Samadhi and then take off my head. So here there is a nice description of how Bhagavatpada went into Samadhi. So the reason why Vidyaranya Swami puts descriptions like this is because we need to know this is how to sit for yogic practice. This is how to sit for dhyana. This is how to sit for for japa and things like this. So Jatruk Pradeshe Chubukam Nidhaya Vyattasya Muttana Karau Nidhaya Janu Pariprekshita Nasikantam Vilochane Sami Nimilyakantam Asina Muchikrita Purvagatram Siddhasanam Shoshita Bodhamatram Chinmatra Vinyasta Hrishika Vargam Samadhi Vismarita Vishwasargam. This is how he sat. Jatrup Pradeshe Chubukam Nidhaya. So his head was slightly tilted down, not completely down, but still Samankaya Shirogrivam. So it's still in a straight line, but the chin is slightly tilted towards the Jatrup Pradesha, is this collarbone region. So it is slightly tilted down. And then Vyaptasya Muttanakaro. So Uttanakaro means the hands are like this in the lap. Janopari, Karo Nidhaya Janopari. And then Prekshita Nasikantam. So Samprekshya Nasikagram Swam, right? Bhagavan says. So Nasikantam is either this or this. So depending on which end of the nose you take, but his drishti was fixed there. Vilochane Sami Nimilya Kantam. So closing his eyes. Asina Muchikrita Purvagatram. His body was rigid and upright. Siddhasanam Sheshita Bodhamatram. So he removed all of his entity until only Bodha, Chaitanya, was left. So the way this works is the Karmendriyas attain Laya into the Jnanendriyas attain Laya into Manas attains Laya into Chaitanya. So this process is called Pravilapa. So then Bhagavatpada withdrew all of these appendages into himself and Chinmatra Vinyasta Hrishika Vargam. So his Indriyas and all were dissolved into his Chaitanya and Samadhi Vismarita Vishwasargam. So then the outer world ceased to exist for Bhagavatpada because he was in Samadhi. So now if, God forbid, the Kapalika had taken off Bhagavatpada's head, he would not even have known it. He would have gone straight to Mokshapada. But as this was about to happen, something rang in Padmapada's heart. Because whenever there is an intense emotional bond and an intense upasana bond, that the vibrations, the connection will let the other person know that something is about to happen. So Jwalitagni Kalpash Chukopa Padmapadaha Swaguror Hitaishi. So all of a sudden Padmapada felt that something was wrong, and he in his dhyana drishti he saw the Kapalika with his Trishula Kshapat Trishulasya. He saw the Kapalika with arm upraised about to strike Bhagavatpada's head from the body, and all of a sudden Padmapada is a Narasimha Upasaka, a great Narasimha Upasaka. And not only this, in other accounts of Digvijay it is written that Padmapada was actually born just as Bhagavatpada was born with Shiva's anugraha. Padmapada was born with Nrisimha Swami's anugraha. So what he did then was Smarannadhesha Smaradartihari Prahladavashyam Paramam Mahastat Samantra Siddho Nraharer Nrisimho Bhutva. So he thought of Bhagavan, and all of a sudden he became Narasimha. This is a very intricate concept to understand. Satat Kshanakshubdha Nijasvabhavaha Pravriddharudvismrita Martyabhavaha Avishkritatyugra Nrisimha Bhavaha Samutpapata Tulita Prabhavaha. So he forgot that he was a human and he became Narasimha, meaning he actually had a mane, he had fangs, he had nails, his face became a lion's face. How did this happen? This is the glory of Advaita Bhakti. So the Advaita Bhakti is not just Tavaivaham, I am not just your servant, but Tvamevaham, I am you. So when you do Upasana, the Upasana eventually bleeds into the realization of Aikya between the Devata and the Upasaka. This is what is called Brahmara Kita Nyaya. So the Kita, the caterpillar, goes into the chrysalis and cuckoos himself, thinking of the butterfly, thinking of the butterfly, thinking of the butterfly. And upon the intense meditation that it does, it comes out and becomes a butterfly. So in that way, doing Upasana of Ishvara, doing Upasana of Ishvara, doing Upasana of Ishvara, the sadhaka eventually realizes Aikya with Ishvara. So following that same maxim, this Padmapada's Nraharer Mantra Siddha. So it is said that you get Mantra Siddhi when you have done Purascharana of a mantra, meaning Akshara Laksha. So however many letters are in the mantra, you do that times a laksha number of times that mantra needs to be done. Then tad dashamsha homa, tad dashamsha tarpana, tad dashamsha brahmana bhojana. So the Narasimha mantra that is generally done has 32 letters, which means that Padmapada did japa of this Narasimha mantra 32 lakh times. That is a massive number to even fathom. So because of that, he had this Narasimha mantra siddhi. He became Narasimha and he leapt. And here I will not tell the meaning of the shlokas, but the language that Vidyaranya Swami uses to convey the prowess of Narasimha is evident in the shlokas itself. Satat spotita megha sanghas tivra ravatrasita bhuta sangha samvega sammurchita loka sangha kimetadityakula megha sangha क्षुभ्यत् समुद्रं समुदूढ रौद्रं स्फुटन् रटन् निशाटं स्फुटदद्रिकूटं ज्वलद्दिशान्तं प्रचलद्धरान्तं प्रभ्रश्य दक्षं दलदन्तरिक्षं जवादभिद्रुत्य शितस्वरुग्रैर्दैत्येश्वरस्येव पुरा नखाग्रैः क्षिपत्रशूलस्य सतस्य वक्षोद्ददार विक्षिप्त सुरारि पक्षः. So that is the prowess and the speed. Narasimha came, he leapt, he came and tore the Kapalika into two halves. So he leapt, and just as Daityeshwarasya iva pura nakhagrehi, just as with his vajra like nakhas, just as he tore Hiranyakashipu into two pieces in Krita Yuga, he tore the chest of that Kapalika into two pieces. And he stood there and roared. And all the other Shishyas heard that roar and they came running to Padmapada. And so what happened now is there is actually a small continuity problem, but we need to resolve that by understanding that the Nrisimhavesha left Padmapada once the Kapalika was killed. So the Nrisimhavesha left Padmapada, and when the Nrisimhavesha left Padmapada, the other Shishyas asked him, Prahladavashyo Bhagavan Kathamba Prasaditoyam Raharistvaya iti. So they said, Narasimha was only beholden to Prahlada. In Bhagavata, once he killed Hiranyakashipu, the other devatas could not even go close to him. So Brahmaradra Purassaraha, they were not able to go near to him. They say so. Idharosham. So he was sitting on the throne and roaring, and the other devatas were terrified. They could not even go close to him, and no matter what stuti they did, he did not calm down. So this Bhagavan Prahladavashyaha, he was only beholden. He only answered to Prahlada. So how did he come when you called him? So as soon as you called, he came. How did you get his anugraha? And then Padmapada tells this beautiful story that brings tears to my eyes whenever I think about it. So he says, Pura kilaham bala bhudaragre punyam samashritya kimapyaranyam. So he says, I was sitting in Ahobala. So Ahobala is the kshetra where it is said that Nrisimha Swami actually attained Avirbhava. So there is a mountain there that is split into two called Ugrastambha. That it is said that Narasimha Swami emerged from there. And the Bhavanashini river there is one section where to this day the river runs red. It is said that Narasimha killed Hiranyakashipu and washed his hands there, and because of the blood, the river still runs red there. And Vadiraja Tirtha writes in his Tirtha Prabandha, he says, Ahobala Nrisimhasya Mahobala Mupashritaha Asattamisra Sammishram Ganayamo na Samsritim. Very beautiful shloka. So he says, Ahobala Nrisimhasya Mahobala Mupashritaha. We have put our faith in the tejas, in the light of Ahobala Narasimha. So therefore, Asattamisra Sammishram Ganayamo na Samsritim. Therefore, we no longer fear the darkness of samsara because we have put our faith in the light of Ahobala Narasimha. So that Ahobala Kshetra is a very divine one because that is where Narasimha attained Avirbhava. That is where he came into being. So I was sitting in that Ahobala, the Garuda Shaila. Ahobale Garuda Shaila Madhye Kripa Visheshat Kritasannidhanaha is what the shloka goes. So that Ahobala Kshetra is called Garuda Shaila. So on that mountain, I was sitting on Balabhodhara and doing Japam of Narasimha. And Kenapi Kiratayuna. So as I was doing Japam there, sitting in some cave, this hunter came and asked me, Swamin, what animal are you looking for? So this question also is very nice because he's a hunter. He is a very simple person that his life is to catch animals and to do whatever needs to be done with them, either take their feathers or take their meat or do something. So his life revolves around looking and catching animals. So he thought if this person is also sitting here, he also must be looking for some animal. So he says, Swami, what animal are you looking for? And Padmapada loved this question because Narasimha is half lion. So he says, this is a nice teaching moment. So let me answer to him in a way that he will understand. So he said, Akantha Matyadbhuta Martyamurti Kanthiravatma Paratascha Kaschita. There is a very interesting animal here. So up to the neck, it is a perfect human. From the neck upwards, it is a perfect lion. So if there is an animal and it is said that this animal is actually in this forest, right? Because Ahobala is a Narasimha Kshetra. So there is this animal and it is said to be in this. You have never seen this one before. So the hunter took this as it a challenge to his profession. So if he says, I don't know this animal that is in this forest, this is my forest. So if I don't know it, this is a problem. So he says, don't worry, Swami, I will come and bring this. Padmapada laughed to himself, how will he get Narasimha Bhagavan? And he did Japam. He went back to doing his Japam. Couple of days later, he hears, Swami, I have brought the animal. And the Padmapada is shell-shocked. He opens his eyes and he says, Nibadhya gadhan nirharim latabhi punyaira ganyaihi puratonyadhan me. This hunter, what he managed in those short couple of days was, he tied Narasimha Swami with vines. So vines are already very thin, fragile, frail things. He tied Narasimha Swami with these vines and put him in front of Padmapada. So Narasimha Swami's hands are tied, his arms are tied, he's sitting there and smiling. So Padmapada lost his mind because Narasimha Swami, the Parakrama of Narasimha Swami, Rudra, the Devas, Hiranyakashipu who conquered the three worlds, no one was able to stand in front of him. And such a Bhagavan that 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 rishis do years and years and years upon tapas to see and are not able to see, that the devatas themselves thirst for his darshana. So such a Narasimha Swami who is difficult to even see, let alone subdue and bind, that Narasimha Swami is tied and he is sitting here tied with latas, with creepers of all things. Can you tie a lion with rubber bands? Is that even possible? So he was so surprised and he asked Bhagavan, so how is this possible? I have been thirsting for your darshana and you have not made yourselves known to me. What tapas did this hunter do to be able to see you, and not just to see you, to be able to bind you and to for you to become Vashya to him? What tapas did this hunter do? And then Bhagavan replied, Ekagra chittena yathamunaham dhyatah tatha dhatrimukhairna purvaihi. When you told him about me, he had nothing else in his mind besides me. He did not think of his family. He did not think of who he was. He did not think of what he was going to eat. He thought of nothing but me. And that level of dhyana that he did for me, that ekagra chitta that he put for me, Dhatramukhairna purvaihi, even Brahma, who taught the Nrisimhatapani Upanishad and the Narasimha Mantra, who is the Drashta of the Narasimha Mantra, even Brahma was not able to do dhyana of me that well. So there are two padyas in the Telugu Potana Bhagavata that come to mind here. So in Prahlada Chitra, actually Prahlada says, Chikkadu Vratamula Kratuvula, Chikkadu Danamula, Shauchashira Tapamulan, Chikkadu Yuktiki, Bhaktiki Chikrina Kriya Achyutundu. So Bhagavan is not bound by vratas. He is not bound by dana. He is not bound by even good character. He's not bound by logic. And later, in when Yashoda ties Krishna to the pestle, to the mortar, the rokali. So there, another padya comes. Chikkadu siri kaugililo, chikkadu sanakadi yogi chittabjamulan, chikkadu shruti latikavali, chikkinatadu leela talli chetan rolan. So he is not bound. This Bhagavan is not bound in the embrace of Lakshmi. So he is not found even Lakshmi's embrace cannot bind him. The hearts of great yogis like Sanaka and etc. cannot bind him. The ropes of Vedas even cannot bind him. But this Gopastri was able to bind him. So the point that the poet is making there is, he is bhaktavashya, he is beholden to bhakti, he is beholden to those who do dhyana of him. So Narasimha Swami said, you have done tapas of me, and that is why now you have gotten my darshana. So that Narasimha Swami did anugraha of me, and ever since then He has been my protector. He has been my raksha. He has been my kavacha. So this is the story that Padmapada told. Now, although the Nrsimha Avesha left Padmapada, Narasimha did not leave that place. So as he told this, Jagarja Chochair Jagadanda Bhandam Bhumna Swadhamna Dalayan Nrsimha. So as Padmapada told this, Narasimha roared again. And to that roar, Bhagavad Pada was Antarmukha until now. That roar, Tatastadarbhata Chalat Samadhi, Swatma Prabodhon Mathitat Yupadhi. So that roar shook Bhagavad Pada and he came out of dhyana. And he opened his eyes and saw before him Unmilya Netre Vikaralavatram Vyalokayan Manava Panchavaktram. So he opened his eyes and saw in front of him the Divya Mangala Murti of Narasimha Swami. So let us look at what that Murti looked like. Chandramshu Sodarya Sata Jatalam Tartiya Netrabja Kananyatalam Sahodya Ushnamshu Sahasrabhasam Vidhyanda Vispota Kritattahasam Nakhagra Nirbhinna Kapali Vaksha Sthalochala Chonita Sthalachala Chonita Chona Charita Antramalam Shrivatsa Vaksham Galavaijayanti Shrivatsa Samspardhita Dantramalam Surasuratrasa Karati Ghora Swakara Sara Vyatitanda Kosham Taushtra Karala Nanirtya Dagni Jwalali Saulidha Nabhovakasham Swaroma Kupodgata Tivya Swaroma Kupodgata Visphulinga Prachara Sandipita Sarvalokam Jambhaddidu Jurumhita Shumbha Dambha Saustambhanarambhaka Danta Pesham Mabhuda Kande Pralayo Mahatman Kopam Niecha Iti Granadbhirarat Sasadhvasaif Pranjalibhi Sagatra Kampaihi Virinchadhivir Arthyamanam. This is the Divyamangala Vigraha of Narasimha that they saw. Chandramshu Sodarya Sata Jatalam with hairs, with a sata, with a mane that was white like the moon. Tartiya Netrabja Kananyatalam with a Phalalochana, with an eye in the forehead like Rudra has. Sahodya Dushnamshu Sahasrabhasam with the light of 1,000 suns. Vidhyanda Vispota Kritattahasam with a laugh that split the three worlds. Shrivatsavatsam Galavaijayanti Shriratna Samspardhita Dantramalam. So Shrivatsavatsam. So Shrivatsa is the birthmark. It is a downward facing equilateral triangle that is on Bhagavan's chest. And Galavaijayanti Shriratna Samspardhita Dantramalam. So just like he did to Hiranyakashipu, he took out the intestines of the Kapalika and put them as a mala around his head, around his neck. So that mala was attaining a similar glow to that of Vaijayanti, which is the flower mala that Bhagavan has in his neck. Naushtra Karala Naniryadagni Jwalali Samleedhana Bhovakasham. So with a face, a mouth with fangs, and Swaroma Kupodgata Vispulinga, every hair in his body was emitting sparks of fire. So there was a Jwala Mandala around him. And Jambhatyud Jrumhita Shumbha Daumha Samstambha Narambhaka Dantapesham. He was grinding his fangs together, and when the Vajrayudha saw those fangs, it let go of its garva, meaning the fangs were even more hard and even more fierce than Vajrayudha itself. And the Devatas are all saying, Mabhuda Kande Pralayam, the Pralayaha. So the Devatas are all coming and saying, please do not unleash your fury upon this world. Do not unleash Pralaya before it is time. So as they were doing this, Munir Abhitir Aidishta. But although he was in such a fearsome form, Bhagavad Pada was not scared and Airishta. He did stotra. And I will only tell one or two shlokas. Tavajanirna gunastava tatvataha jagad anugrahanaya bhavadikam tava padankhalu vangmanasatigam shruti vachas chakitam tava bodhakam. So Bhagavan, you do not have a birth. You are Adyanta Adimadhyanta Rahita. Jagad anugrahanaya bhavadikam. The only reason you take upon a sharira is to do anugraha to this world, to protect this world. So to rid the world of Rakshasas like Hiranyakashipu, you take upon a form. And this form is not a form like us, because our body is bought through karma. But Bhagavan does not have a body that is bought through karma, because karma does not bind him. He does leela, he does not do karma. So the shloka in Gita is Janma Karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tatvadaha tyaktadeham panarjanma naiti mameti shashvatam. And then he says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tatvataha. So my body is divyam. And there Bhagavad Pada writes in Gita Bhashya, Syadapi Bhagavataha Maya Matram Rupam. So Bhagavan makes his body out of Maya, which is why he can make any form in any which way he wants. Even such, in Bhagavata they say Adrishyata Atyadbhuta Rupa Mudvahan Stambhe Sabhayan Namraganna Manusham. Avrishta Shruta Purvatva. So this form was not seen or heard of before. And it was very wonderful. Atyadbhutam. So because of that, Bhagavan, you were able to take such a grand form like this. Narahare tava nama parishravat prathama guhyaka dushta pishachakaha apasaranti vibhosaranayakaha nahi purasthitaye prabhavantyami. Bhagavan, Narasimha, your name itself, one said, drives away Rakshasas and all Dushta Shaktis. They cannot stand in front of you, nor in front of the person who does japa of your name. So Narasimha Swami is not only the guardian deity of, not only is the Adhisthana Devata of Brahma Vidya, but also is able to give us the protection, etc. in the Laukika world as well. He is a very powerful Raksha Kavacha. And then this shloka, Jagadgurus tell on Narasimha Jayanti day, after they do Bhagavata Parayana. So on Narasimha Jayanti day, which is coming up in about 9 to 10 days on the 25th, 24th, 25th, depending on where you are. when they do, after they do puja in the Sandhya Samaya, so when the Avatara Kala, in the Avirbhava Kala, the Jagadgurus do Parayana of that Adhyaya wherein Narasimha Avirbhava happens in Bhagavata and Saptamaskandha. And then they read this shloka along with the Garjana Prarthana that is done afterwards of Narasimha. So this shloka they tell after doing Parayana. Tvameva sargasthiti heturasya, tvameva netan raharekhirasya, tvameva chintyo hridayena vadye, tvameva chinmatramaham prapadye. So Narasimha, you are the root of the Srishti Sthiti Layas of this world. You are only noble in a hridaya that is anavadya. Avadyam papa karma. So avadyam means dosha, a blemish. So you are only noble in a heart that is free of all kalushas. And therefore, tvameva chinmatramaham prapadye. I am doing sharanagati to you, who is of the nature of pure Chaitanya. And then there are 3 shlokas where Bhagavatpada does a prarthana to the Garjana, the roar of Narasimha. So I will not do the meaning for that, but the shlokas themselves are very divine. So we'll just do namaskaram to that and think of that glory. Kalpantojrambhamana pramatha parivradha praudhalalaata vanhijwala triloki janita chata chata dhvana dhikkara dhuryaha मध्ये ब्रह्मांड भांडोदर कुहर मने कांत्य दुस्थाम अवस्थाम स्त्यानस्त्यानो ममायम दलयतु दुरितं श्री नृसिंहाट्टहासः मध्ये व्यानद्धवादन्धय गुणवलयाधान मंथान भूभ्रन्मन्थेनोत्क्षिप्त दुग्धोदधि लहरिमिथ स्फालनाचार घोरः कल्पन्तोन्निद्र रुद्रोच्चतरणमरुकध्वान बद्धाभ्यसूयः घोषोऽयं कर्णघोरः क्षपयतु नृहरेर्हसां संहतिन्नः क्षुन्दानो मंशुकल्पावधि समय समुजृम्भदम्भोदगुम्भ स्फूर्जद्दम्भो निसंघ स्फुरदुरुरटना खर्वगर्व प्ररोहान् क्रीडा क्रोडेन्द्र घोणा सरभस विसरद्घोर घूर्घूरवश्री गम्भीरस्तेट्टहासः हर हर नृहरे रंहसा अंहंसि हन्यात्. So with that, let us do namaskaram to Narasimha, who is the guardian deity of Advaita, because he himself represents the Advaita Tattva. He is a devata that pervades dualities without being confined to them. So he is neither human nor animal, but both. He came in neither day nor night, but both, but something different. He killed with neither things that were alive, neither things that were dead, but with the nails. So this avatar of Narasimha, it is Dvandva Atita. So it is not human nor animal. It is not day nor night. So it transcends dualities, but is yet the Vyapaka of them. So it is, he is still half Nara, half Simha, but he transcends both limitations. So that is the nature of Brahman. So Satchatyacha bhavata, niruktancha, aniruktancha, nilayancha, anilayancha, vijnanancha, vijnanancha, satyancha, anritancha, satyam bhavata. So Bhagavan pervades this world as the dualities, in the dualities. But Brahman is not dual in nature, which is why Narasimha is neither man nor lion, but he is still called Narasimha. And this is the avatara that proved that Brahman is Sarva Vyapaka. So that is another thing. And that is why Bhagavatpada, along with Sri Vidya, enforced Narasimhopasana in his Pitha. So in Sringeri, we have the Narasimha Salagrama that has been passed down from Bhagavatpada himself. And of course, in Dwaraka Pitha, because that is Padmapadacharya Sampradaya, Narasimhopasana is very strong there as well. And Narasimha Swami has been very dear to the acharyas of the Pitha, which is why we have so many acharyas that have his name. Narasimha Bharati, Ugra Narasimha Bharati, Vriddha Narasimha Bharati, Sachidananda Shivabhinavan Narasimha Bharati. So all these acharyas have Narasimha Swami in their names. And the form of Narasimha, the Mantra Raja Dhyanamurti that is meditated upon in Sringeri is also very unique. Satyajnana Sukhaswarupam Amalam Kshirabdhi Madhyasthitam Yogarudhamati Prasannavadanam Bhusha Sahasrojwalam Trikshan Chakra Pinaka Sabhayavaran Vibhranam Arkachavim Chatribhuta Phanindram Indudhavalam Lakshmi Nrasimham Bhaje is the Dhyana Shloka with the mantra that Acharyas do upasana of. So it starts with the Swarupa Lakshana of Brahman, Satyajnana Sukhaswarupam, one who is Satchidananda, Kshirabdhi Madhyasthitam, in the middle of the Kshira Sagara. Yoga Rudham. So he is sitting, he is sitting in the yoga bhangima like this. Yoga Rudham. Ati Prasanna Vadanam. His face is smiling. This is not an Ugramurti. This is a Shantamurti. Ati Prasanna Vadanam. Bhusha Sahasrojwalam. He is decked with numerous ornaments. He is bedecked with numerous ornaments. Triksham. He has 3 eyes. Chakra Pinaka Sabhaya Varan. In his 4 arms, the top 2 hands have Chakra and Pinaka, not Sharanga, not Vishnudhanas, Pinaka, Shivadhanas, and Abhaya Varada Hastas. Vibhranam Arkachavim, he is shining like the sun. Chatri Bhuta Phanindram, Adishesha with 7 hoods is acting as an umbrella behind him. And Indudhavalam, he is white like the moon. So such Lakshmi Nrasimham Bhaje, and he has Lakshmi on his thigh. So the Abhaya Hasta is encircling Lakshmi Devi. So that is the form of Narasimha that is done upasana of here. So in Shastra, there are 3 kinds of murtis. There are Yoga, Bhoga, Vira murtis. So Yoga murtis are murtis that give jnana. Bhoga murtis are murtis that give Aishwarya. Vira murtis are murtis that are used for either defense or offense, protection or attack. This murti combines all 3 into them. So it is the Yoga murti because Bhagavan is sitting in the Yoga mudra and he is in yoga. He is Bhoga murti because he is with Lakshmi. Lakshmi is sitting on his thigh and he is wearing all the ornaments. He is a Veeramurti because he is ready for protection of his bhaktas with Sudarshana and the Dhanas. So, and this Murti also shows Harihara Aikya because he is described as being white like Narasimha, like Shiva, having a 3rd eye like Shiva, holding Shiva's Pinaka. So this Murti is a very divine one. And this is a Murti that was very specifically very dear to Jyeshtha Mahasanidhanam. So Narasimha Swami was the first Murti that he had Anubhava of. So if I start speaking about this, it will take the rest of the days that I have left. So we will do Namaskaram to Narasimha and pray that his protection continues upon us and pray that he who is the guardian Devata and the Adhisthana Devata of Advaita, of Brahmavidya, he will continue to guard us in our sadhana. So let us do Namaskaram to him. And from there, Acharya is moving on to other temples. So in Gokarna, so he goes to Gokarna from there. There he does Namaskaram to Shiva as Ardhanarishvara. So here Vidyaranya Swami writes a very beautiful shloka in praise of Ishvara. Vamanka Simankuradamshu. Vamanka Simankuradamshu. Vamanka Simankuradamshu Trunya Chanchan Mraganchat Taradakshapani Savyanya Shobha Kalamagra Bhaksha Sakanksha Kiranya Karam Mahosmi. So he is thinking of the Ardhanarishvara. So if we have Shiva split down the middle, one hand is holding a deer, right? He is Kurangapani, Saranga Hasta. And in Devi's hand, we have a Shuka, right? There is a parrot on one hand for Devi. So Devi's side is Marakatashyama, Mata Marakatashyama. It is dark green in color. Bhagavan's half, Shiva's half, is white in color. So the deer sees the light coming from Devi's half and thinks that it is grass and is trying to jump out of Shiva's hand to go eat that. And the parrot in Devi's hand sees the white light coming from Shiva's half, and it thinks that it is dhanya, it is rice, and to eat that grain, it thinks it is grain. And to eat that grain, the Shuka is trying to come and jump and trying to eat that. So like that, Bhagavan is attaining a very interesting leela as Ardhanarishwara in Gokarna. So he did namaskaram to Ishvara there, and then there, close to Gokarna, there is a Harishankara Alaya. So there, Vidyaranya Swami writes a very beautiful stotra in praise of Bhagavan there. And what he does is, he does a Dvyartha Stuti. A Dvyartha Stuti, meaning the same shloka will have two meanings. One, so this is a Dashavatara Stotra. So 10 shlokas. Each shloka will have one meaning for an avatara and one meaning for Shiva. So as an example, I will tell the shloka he used for Krishna. Vinayake nakalitahi tapam nishedusham निषेदुषोत्संग भुवि प्रहृष्यन् यः पूतनामोहक चित्तवृत्तिः अव्यादसौ कोऽपि कलापभूषः. So first let us take the meaning for Krishna Paramatma. So Vinayakena, Vinayaka, V means Pakshi, a bird. So Vinayaka is the king of birds, Garutman. So Vinayakena Akalita Ahita Vinayakena, and then Akalita Ahitapam. So one who caused tapa to the ahi, to the snake. So one who is Kaliya Mardana, one who defeated and conquered the snake. And Nishedusha Utsanga Bhuvi Prahrishyan, one who is sitting upon Vinayaka, one who is sitting upon Garuda. And Putana Mohaka Chittavrittihi, one who threw Putana into delusion. So when Putana came, she came with poison applied to her chest, so that when baby Krishna suckled and drank milk from her, the Visha would go and he would die, was her thinking. So Bhagavan applied moha on her. He deluded her buddhi to think that he was a normal child. So this Bhagavan Putana Mohaka Chittavritti, one who confused, deluded Putana, and Kopi Kalapa Bhushaha. Kalapa is a peacock feather. Kalapa Bhushaha, one who is adorned with a peacock feather. Saha, as a Kopi Avyat, may he protect us. So this is the meaning for Krishna. Meaning for Shiva, Vinayakena Nishodusha Utsanga Bhuvi Prahrishyan. So Vinayaka here obviously is Ganesha. So one for whom Ganesha is sitting in the lap. Akalita Ahitapam. So, and then Nishedusha Utsanga Bhuvi, Yaha Akalita Ahitapam. So one who is adorned with snakes, and Puta Nama Uhaka Chittavritti. So Nama Uhaka. Uhaka means one who does Uha, one who does contemplation. So Uhaka Chittavrittihi. So the manas of those who meditate upon, who meditate upon what? Namohaka. So the Chittavritti of those who meditate upon his name, Shiva Nama. So Puta Namohaka Chittavrittihi Yena Saha. So Puta means pure. So one who has purified the minds of those who meditate upon his name. So for Krishna, that was Putana Mohaka Chitta Vritti. Here it is Puta Nama Uhaka Chitta Vritti. And Avyadasau Kopi Kalapa Bhushaha. Kalapa Bhushaha. Kalapa for Krishna meant Kalapa. Kalapa is a peacock feather. But here Kalapa. Kalaha Pati. Kalam Pati Bahojana. Kalah Pati. Iti Kalapaha. So Kalavan is a name for Chandra because he has 16 kalas within him. So Kalapa means one who fosters, one who nourishes the kalas. So Kalapa becomes Chandra. Kalapa Bhushaha means one who is adorned with the Chandra Rekha. So in this way he did stuti to both Shiva and Vishnu and moved on from there. So then he went to Mukambika and he does a very nice stuti there of Devi in the Shat Chakras. So there is a stuti here that says what phala we get when you do prarthana, when you do upasana of Devi sitting in each chakra in the body. So from Mooladhara to Sahasrara, right? So we have the Kodhyana Petanilya, Bindu Mandala Vasini. So we have all those that krama of Shat Chakra upasana in Lalita Sahasranama. So he details that. But the important part here is now two more very important Shishyas are about to come to Bhagavad Pada. So of the four Pradhana Shishyas, already Sureshwaracharya and Padmapadacharya have already come. So close to Mukambika, there was an Agrahara where Bhagavad Pada went for Bhiksha. There, this Brahmana named Prabhakara brought his son to Bhagavad Pada. So the son is about 7 to 8 years old. But the son has been Jada. He sits like a rock. He is an inert being. So obviously this will trouble any father, because any parent will want their child to be engaged, active, smart, intelligent, sharp. All of these things are qualities that a parent will want in a child. But this child does not even play. He sits there. If you hit him, he doesn't respond. If you give him something to eat, he will eat. Else he won't eat. So this child he looks like a dullard upon first glance. So the father brings the child to Bhagavad Pada. Just like these days, right? We will bring any children that have problems to acharyas and say, please bless him for his health to get better. Please bless him for his education. So like that, this Brahmana named Prabhakara brought his son to Bhagavad Pada and said, he is inert, please bless him. So Bhagavad Pada does not address the father. Bhagavad Pada addresses the child, and he says, why are you jada? Those are the words he uses. Jadaha kutosi. Jada kutosi. Why are you jada? Why are you inert? Why are you dull? The child gives an answer that blows everyone's mind. He says, Nahan jadaha, kintu jadav pravartate mat sannidhanena, na sandihe guru, shadurmi shadbhava vikara varjitam sukhaikatanam padamasmi tatpadam. So he says, Acharya, Guru. So he calls Bhagavad Pada as the Guru. Guru, Nahan jadaha. I am not jada. Keshava. I am not Jada, but Jada is enlivened by my very, in my very vicinity, by my very presence. Jada springs to life. So I am not Jada, but I am the Chaitanya that enlivens the inert body and the inert Indriyas. So Buddhi and Sharira and Indriyas are all Jada Padarthas. They have no Chaitanya of their own. Only when the Chaitanya attains Pratiphalana, right? So Abhasa Evacha is the Brahma Sutra that talks about this. So the Chaitanya reflects in the Buddhi, and only when that Chaitanya reflects in the Buddhi is able to come to life and is able to dictate the body to do things. So I am not Jada, but I am that Chaitanya that enlivens all the things that are actually Jada. So I am free of the Shed Urmis and the Shed Bhavas. What are the Shed Urmis? The Urmi is a wave. So these Shed Urmis are things that waves are tumultuous. So these waves are things that disturb the individual. So Pipasa, Kshuddha, Shoka, Moha, Jara, Mrityu. These six. Pipasa, thirst, Kshuddha, hunger, Shoka, sorrow, Moha, delusion, Jara, old age, Mrityu, death. So these six things are things that shake the stability of us. They Krubhyandi ante in Japalikada Krubhyanti means they mathana paristhay. So they causes anguish. They disturb our tranquility. They disturb an individual's equanimity. So I am free of these shadurmis, and I am also free of the shad bhava vikaras. What are the shad bhava vikaras? Asti, jayate, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, nashyati. So it comes into being, it is born, it vardhate, it grows up, viparinamate, it changes, kshiyate, it decays, nashyati, it dies. So these are the 6 stages that apply to the body. So the zygote forms in the mother's womb, then the baby is born, the baby grows up, the baby changes, becomes a teenager, then a praudha, then kshiyate. So as 40, 50, 60 come, the body starts, its capabilities start to deteriorate. The sight, the sense of hearing, all of these senses slowly start to decay. And then nashyati, the body will pass away. So I am free of these vikaras because these apply only to the body. Sukha ekatanam. I am Ananda Swarupa by myself. I do not need any external padartha to give me Ananda, which is why I am sitting like this without having to do anything. Paramasmi Tatpadam, Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam. I have attained that sthana which does not need anything else. And this is told in a series of 12 shlokas called Hastamalakiya. Beautiful text. Several commentaries are available on this, and it is a text that Acharya himself was mesmerized by. So Bhagavad Pada then says to that Brahmana, he says, give this child to me. He will be of more use to me than he is to you. Because with you, regardless of however much a Brahmajnani is to you, he will always be a failed son. He will not be what you want. He will not do what, he will not provide what you expect from a son. So give him to me and I will make him useful to this world. So he says, okay, and he gives Totakacharya, Hastamalakacharya, and Hastamalakacharya becomes one of the students of Bhagavad Pada, and from there Bhagavad Pada comes to Shrungeri, Shrungagirim Pratasthe, and there is a Divya Varnana here of the beauty and the glory of Shrungeri. Yatradhunapyuttama Rishyashringaha Tapascharathyatmabhrid Antarangaha. So to this day, Rishyashringa Swami's tapas is reigning in this area. So the reason why we say, right, the reason why Bhagavad-pada chose Sringeri for the Pitha is he saw a snake shading a pregnant frog from the scorching sun. So Bhagavad-pada saw that this is a place where even natural enmity, so snake and frogs are naturally predator and prey. So this is a place where even natural enmity is overcome. So there is this there is this Yoga Sutra called Ahimsa Pratishthayan Tat Sannidho Vairatyagaha. So once Patanjali Maharshi discusses the yamas and niyamas, one of which is ahimsa, he says, for someone that follows ahimsa to the dot perfectly, in his vicinity, so in his presence, vaira bhava, thoughts of enmity and dvesha will not even pop up in anyone's mind. So when Bhagavad-pada saw that there was no vaira between natural enemies, he reasoned that there have been great Mahatmas here who have done tapas and have done yoga sadhana, which has caused the ahimsa feeling to go away from things here. And also, it is very good if there is a tirtha there already ready to be channeling some divya shakti into the area. So there we have samsparsha matrena vitirna bhadra vidyotate yatra cha tunga bhadra. So we have, of course, we have the Tungabhadra river there, which the pushkaras of which we celebrated this year. So samsprishti matrena vitirna bhadra. So if you just touch a drop of Tungabhadra water itself, it gives shubha. And Tungabhadra's water is not praised just in these adhyatmika contexts, but even Ayurveda and Pakashastra texts praise the medical properties of Tungabhadra. They say Tungabhadra jalam swadu shaityakaram param. So just like we are told to drink buttermilk when it is hot outside, Tungabhadra water acts as a cooling agent. Satmye shaityakaram param, they say. So like that, Tungabhadra is also a very healthy a river with healthy water. So that is also there. So Bhagavad-pada said that this is a very nice place. And there, Bhagavad-pada himself constructed a temple for Sharadamba. Prakalpya Tatrendra Vimana Samyam, Tatrendra Vimana Kalpam, Prasada Mavishkrita Sarva Shilpam, Pravartayamasa Sadevataya Pujam, Ajadyai Api Pujitaya. So there he made a mandira that rivaled even Indra's Bhavana. And there he put a devata, he installed a devata there that is worshipped by even Brahma. So, of course, we know that this is Sharadamba, but an interesting point to note, we said here that Sharadamba is being worshipped by even Brahma, right? And even this comes in numerous shlokas. So, Shringakshma Prannivase Shukamakhamanibhis Sevya Mananghe Padme Swangat Chaya Vidhotam Pratakara Suradvahane Vaksavitri Shambhu Srinath Mukhyamarvar Nikarer Modataf Pujyamane. Not there. Bhavam Bhoja Netra Aja Sampujyamanam. So Bhava, Ambhoja Netra, Aja. Bhava Shiva, Ambhoja Netra, Vishnu, Aja, Brahma. So Sharadamba is being worshipped by all three of these. But at the same time, we are saying Kamalaja Dayite, you are the wife of Brahma. So as a Pativrata, will Sharadamba allow Brahma to worship her? That is not the question here. That question does not hold here, because Sharadamba is the Brahmavidya Swarupa. So as we have said before, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. So Brahman stands above all else. At the end of the day, Brahma is still a lower upadhi than Brahmananda. So the Brahmananda Mimamsa, when Brahmananda Mimamsa is done, Brahmananda, so the Ananda of Brahma Jnana is several hundreds of times greater than the Ananda that Chaturmukha Brahma experiences. And not just that, there is a Nyaya or a rule of thumb in Kshetras that if the Mula Devata is not installed along with the consort, then the consort can be said to be worshipping the Devata there. So let's say, because here Sharadamba is installed without Brahma next to her, we can safely say that Brahma also worships her. So this is one thing. So there he did Pratishtha of Sharadamba, very famous shloka that Acharya quote, that Jagadgurus to this day quote a lot. Ya Sharadambe Tyabhidham Vahanti Kritam Pratigyam Paripalayanti Pratipalayanti Adyapi Shringadripure Vasanti Vidyotate Abhishtavaram Dishanti. So ya Sharadamba iti Abhidham Vahanti. So though she is Adiparashakti that has no name and form, she takes upon the name Sharadamba. So Sharada is actually Sarada. Actually Sarada. Saram Dadati. She gives us the essence of Vidya, of Vedas. So she is Sharada, the name Sharada. Ya Sharadambet Abhidham Vahanti. And the Sharadamba is praised in the Vedas. Chodayatri Sunritanam, Chetanti Sumatinam, Yajnandadhe Saraswati. So Chodayatri Sunritanam, she incites Satya. Chetanti Sumatinam, she provokes good thoughts in us. Yajnandadhe Saraswati. May Saraswati come and accept our Yajna Bhagas. So even Veda does stuti of this Sharadamba who is Jnanaswarupani. And Kritam Pratignyam Pratipalayanti. So what is the pratignya that she made? Bhagavad Pada extracted a promise from her when after the debate with Pandan Mishra, he said, Rishya Shringadi Kshetreshu Asva. So he said, please be there, Sannidhanena Sat Sannidhanam. He said, Asva, stay there, be there, Krita Sannidhana, Asva Kshetreshu. So stay in the Kshetras where I call you upon. So she fulfills that, and Adhyapi, to this day. Important to remember, Sharadamba is not some devata that came and went. She is still there with Paripurna Sannidhana to this day. And Abhishtavaram Dishanti Pradyotate. She shines as the giver of whatever the sadhaka wishes for. Only requirement being that we have a pure heart. So that Sharadamba is there to this day. So Bhagavad Pada then installed a Chandana Murti there. Chandana, of course, being wood, it started to have some decay. But then the later Sringeri Acharyas took the kalas of that murti, put it into a golden murti, and the Swarna murti is what is now sitting there at Sringeri right now. So as Bhagavad Pada was in Sringeri, he had several Sishyas, not just Padmapadacharya and Sureshwaracharya and now Hastamalakacharya. He had several other students with him, and he would teach Brahmasutra Bhashyas and all other Vedanta Granthas to them. Among those Shishyas, though, there was one Shishya named Giri. This Giri, Vidyaranya Swami writes, Tanuvag Vibhuti. So he was not a bright student. He was somewhat of a challenged student. But his Guru Bhakti was second to none. So there he writes some shlokas telling us how this Giri was serving Bhagavad Pada. I am telling those shlokas now because it reminds us the do's and don'ts of what we are supposed to do in Guru Sannidhi. Guru Samipe Nasajato Jrambhate Prasarayanno Charano Nishidati Nopekshate No Bahuva Na Bhashate Na Prishtadarshi Puratosyate Na Prishtadarshi Puratosyatishtati Tishthan Guru Tishtati. So Guru Samipe Nasajato Jrambhate. He does not yawn. When the Guru is teaching, you should not be happily opening your mouth and yawning. Cover your mouth, turn to the side. And actually, even when you speak to the Gurus, you should speak like this, it is said. So that just in case our Uchishta, our Lala Jala should not go and fall on them. So you should speak like this even. And if you have to yawn, hand to the side. And Prasarayanno Charano Nishidati. So forget about sitting on Samanasana with Gurus. You need to, he sits on the ground and Charano na Prasarayan. He does not stretch out his legs and sit in front of the Guru. So in Taittiriya Upanishad, he says, Teshan Tvaya Asane na Prashvasitavyam. So Teshan Tvaya Asane na Prashvasitavyam. The level of care we need to take if you are allowed to sit next to the Guru, if it is in, if there are no seats available, for example, or if you're sitting next to them on the ground, or if you are in travel. So there are some situations where it is okay to have Samanasana with the Guru, only in some rare cases. But in those cases, Tvaya na Prashvasitavyam. Don't even breathe. So have the utmost, keep your wits about you, Jagrata. So keep a razor sharp focus. Do not do anything. So to the point where measure your words so carefully that don't even breathe if you don't have to. So Veda is just emphasizing that we need to be very careful when we are sitting close to our Gurus. No pekshate, he does not neglect the Guru ever. So he is always vigilant of where the Guru is and what the Guru is doing. No bahuva na bhashate, he does not prattle in front of the Guru. There is nothing that we have to tell the Guru that is more important than what the Guru can tell us. We should only speak to ask something or to reply to something that Guru has told us to do. Na prishtadarshi, he does not show the Guru his back. Puratosya tishtati, he always stays in front of him. And tishthan guru tishtati samprayate gachan Bruvane vinayena shrunvan chayeva deshikamaso bhashamanvayat saha. So Tishthan Guru Tishtati. If Bhagavad is standing, he stands. If Samprayate Gachan, if Bhagavad is walking, he follows. Bruvane vinayena shrunvan. If Bhagavad is speaking, he listens. So Chayeva deshikamaso bhashamanvayat. He basically was like a shadow to Bhagavad at all times. Sannidhanam Varu said this very same thing about Mahasannidhanam Varu in his first Vijay Yatra. He said, I am like Mahasannidhanam's shadow, nothing more. And Sahitya Pipasus, they will know that this shloka is very similar to a shloka in Raghuvamsha. So Dilipa is serving Nandini. So Nandini goes to graze in the forest, in the foothills of the Himalayas, and Dilipa follows him. There Kalidasa writes, Sthita Sthitam Uchchilita Prayatam Nishedushi Masanabadha Dhira Jalavhilashi Jalamadadhana Chayevatam Bhupatiranvagachat. So when Nandini was standing, the Dilipa was standing. When Nandini sits, he sits. When Nandini moves, he moves. When Nandini drinks, he drinks. Chayevatam. So Dilipa also followed Nandini like a shadow. So just interesting to look at the ways that literary traditions overlap. So then, so this Giri was serving Bhagavad Pada in every which and menial labor too, like doing Bhagavad Pada's laundry, washing his clothes. By the time Bhagavad Pada got up, he would do snana, have Bhagavad Pada's clothes ready out for him, have whatever neem stick that was used to brush his teeth. All of this he was doing for Bhagavad Pada. So once Bhagavad Pada was about to do Patha, and the students were about to do Shanti Patha, and Bhagavad Pada stopped. And he said, wait for Giri, Giri has not come yet. Padmapada said, why are we waiting for that fellow? He's like the wall, Bhitti, he says. So if you teach the wall and if you teach him, both will understand the same amount. Why do you have to wait for him? So Bhagavad understood two things. One, that Padmapada and others have gotten some ahankara that they are only good sishyas and Giri is somehow inferior. Second, that Giri needs to be, he got karuna upon Giri and decided just manasa to give him all the vidyas. So just from his mind, he gave him the Chaturdasha Vidyas. And then that Giri came singing the stotra in the Totaka Chandas. So Totaka is la 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 la. It is a string of taganas. We are very familiar with this Totaka Chandas. We don't need to think that this is some far-fetched, some obscure thing. Outside of Totaka Ashtaka. Kamala kuchachuchuka kunkumato niyatarunita tulani latano Kamala yatalochana lokapate vijayi bhava venkatashilapate Sachaturmukha shanmukha panchamukha pramukha khila devatama ulimane Sharana mane sharanagata vatsalasara nidhe paripala yamam prashashailapate Sachaturmukha shanmukha panchamukha. So this chandas that we used to do Suprabhata for Venkateshwara is in Totaka Chandas. So he came singing shlokas on Bhagavad Pada in that Totaka Chandas. Of course, that is where we get the famous Totaka Ashtaka. Vidita khila shastra sudha jaladhe mahito upanishad kathitartha nidhe hridaye kalaye vimalam charanam bhava Shankaradesh kame sharanam. Vidita khila shastra sudha jaladhe. Oh Guru, you have some people, there's a Pathantra where they say Mathita Akhila Shastra Sudhajalade, which also works. So you have done Mathana of the Kshira Sagara of the Shastras and extracted the Amrita, which is the essence, the Jnana that is enshrined within Shastras. Mahitopanishad Katitartha Nidhe. You are like a mine of the knowledge of Upanishads. Hridaye Kalaye Vimalam Sharanam. I am holding your feet in my heart. So Bhava Shankara Deshika Me Sharanam. So please become my refuge. You are my refuge. Please protect me. And of course, that entire shloka, every letter is gold. Jagati mavitum kalita kritayo vicharanti mahamahasaschalatah ahimam shurivatra vibhasi guru bhava shankara deshika me sharanam. Jagatim avitum kalita kritayah mahantah. So some great souls, great acharyas, Gauda Bhagavad Pada, Govind Bhagavad Pada, Shankaracharya, Vyasa Maharshi. There are so many great souls, right? That like we have seen so many in the course of this Digvijaya itself. So we have Kumarila Bhattapada, who did a lot to uplift Sanatana Dharma. So all these acharyas, including all the acharyas that came afterwards as well, all the different sampradayas that have protected Sanatana Dharma, there are several people who Jagatim Avitum Kalitakritaya, they take upon a body with the sole purpose of protecting this world and protecting the knowledge of this world, protecting the sthiti of this world. So Vicharanti, they range this world. But among them, Ahimamshuhu, you shine like the sun among all of them, Bhagavad Pada. please be my Sharana. So that because he sang, little known fact, not because he sang Totakashtaka and Totaka Chandas, he got the name Totaka. He sang about Atma Tattva in Totaka Chandas first, and then did Namaskara to the Guru, by whose grace he got this Atma Tattva. So because his realization of Atman came in Totaka Chandas, they gave him the name Totakacharya. So now Bhagavad Pada has all 4 Shishyas with him. First came Padmapada, then came Sureshwaracharya, then came Padmapadacharya, then first Sureshwaracharya, then first Padmapadacharya, then Sureshwaracharya, then Hastamalakacharya, then Totakacharya. So 4. And Vidyaranya Swami writes, with the 4 Shishyas, Bhagavad Pada shines like Brahman, the Paramapurusha, with the 4 Vedas. Like the 4 Purusharthas with one who has transcended the 4 Purusharthas. So a new Shobha was there for Bhagavad Pada. A small ghatta here that happened, I will try to summarize it because we are already running out of time. In Sringeri, Bhagavad Pada is teaching his Bhashya. Sureshwaracharya comes and does Namaskaram. Bhagavad Pada says, you should write Vartikas upon my Bhashya. So what do Vartikas do? Ukta, Anukta, Durukta, Vichara. So Ukta, Anukta, Durukta, Vichara. It is a critical analysis of Ukta, things that have been said, Durukta, things that have not been said properly and need to be clarified, Ukta and Anukta, things that have not been said but need to be said to make sure that the Bhashya is understandable. So saying this has been said well, this is wrong and needs to be corrected, or it needs more clarification, or this thing needs to be added for further clarity. So that is the level of understanding that a Vartika needs. So only one who has understood the sutras and the Bhashya will be fit, is deserving to write the Vartikas. So he instructs Sureshwaracharya. He says, you are capable of this. You start to write Vartikas on my Brahmasutra Bhashya. The other Shishyas hear this. Jealousy and fear creep into their mind. So although they are studying from Bhagavad Pada, they are still unable to escape the clutches of the vikaras of the manas nonetheless. So they all come, and Totakacharya, one of them comes and says, why did you not give it to Padmapadacharya? He has the most force of diction, he has the most force of expression, and he is a brilliant person, he is a sharp intellect. Or you could have given to Hastamalaka. He sang Brahmatattva as soon as you spoke to him. That we doubt this Mandana Mishra because we all came to sannyasa straight from Brahmacharya, meaning we had all the qualifications for sannyasa in Brahmacharya sthiti itself. But this Mandana Mishra did not take sannyasa until he went through Grahastha. And not just that, he is a Mimamsaka before sannyasa. So his true intents until you gave him sannyasa laid with Karmakanda. So we are not sure if his intent has truly changed or not. He can use this as an opportunity to destabilize the Advaita teachings that you have done so much to promote. Bhagavad Pada says, number 1, Hastamalaka cannot write because he is engrossed in Brahmavichara and he has not done Shastra Dhyena. So although he may know the end goal of Vedanta, which is Brahmajnana, he has not done the Shastra Vichara necessary to do such Vada Prativadas and the Nirupanas and the Prakaranas that the Nanus and the Nachas that we get in texts. He has not done the Shastra, the extensive Shastra Dhyena that Sureshwaracharya has done to be able to write a scholarly text like this. So as for the point of Padmapada, sure, okay, because you have asked, let Padmapada do it. So the Shishyas actually go against the desires of Bhagavad Pada, and we will see what the results of that are. So Bhagavad Pada calls Sureshwaracharya and says, the other Shishyas don't want you writing this. Desist your Vartikas. Instead, I have written Upanishad Bhashyas of the 10 main Upanishads. So Isha Kena Katha Prashna Munda Manduki Tittiri, Isha Kena Katha Prashna Munda Manduki Tittiri, Aitareya Chandogya Brihadaranyaka. So these are the 10 Upanishads I have written on. Of these, the ones I feel are the best, or not, the ones I feel that you should comment on are the Taittiriya Bhashya and the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya. So the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya is the Upanishad, or the Brihadaranyaka is the Upanishad from Shukla Yajurveda. Taittiriya is the Upanishad from Krishna Yajurveda. So write Vartikas on my Upanishad Bhashyas for these. So, and he writes bhashyas for that, and he also writes a text called Naishkarmya Siddhi. So, talking about how Atma is Nishkarmi. So, the karma does not touch Atma, although the Atma is the Chaitanya due to which the karmendriyas are able to function. It is a very scholarly, high level text. So, in this, there are several Siddhi Granthas in Advaita literature. The three greatest of those, they call them the Siddhitraya, are Advaita Siddhi, which is the most popular, Naishkarmya Siddhi and Brahma Siddhi. So, of those, this Naishkarmya Siddhi forms one. So, such textual writings were done while Bhagavad Pada was in Sringeri. Also, while Bhagavad Pada was in Sringeri, we get this in the 14th Sarga now, Padmapada expresses his desire to go do a Tirtha Yatra. So when he goes to Bhagavad Pada and asks for his permission to go to a Tirtha Yatra, Bhagavad Pada tells him, Satirthavaso Guru Satirthavaso Satirthavaso Nikate Guroryo Vasaha Tadiyanghi Jalancha Tirtham Gurupadishtera Yadatma Drishtihi Saiva Prashasta Akhila Deva Drishtihi. So he says, where do you want to go for Tirtha Yatra? Staying in the Guru's Sannidhana, staying in the Guru's vicinity is the same as staying in a Punyakshetra. The Guru's Padodaka, the water that comes from washing the Guru's feet is the Tirtha Jala. So it is no less than the waters of Yamuna or Godavari or Ganga. Guru Upadishtena Yadatma Drishtihi. The Atma, so the Darshana, the Atma Darshana that happens from the Guru's Upadesha is no different from doing darshana of devatas. So go to Ahobalasi Narasimha, go to Srirangam Sri Ranganatha, go to Kashi Sri Vishwanatha, go to Arunachala Sri Arunachaleshwara, go to Kanchi Sri Kamakshi, go to Mukambika see Devi there, go to all these different temples and see devatas. But seeing those devatas is the same, or seeing the Atma within by the Guru's Upadesha is the same as seeing those devatas, because it is this Atma that is being worshipped as those devatas. So Bhagavad Pada says this, but Padmapada insists. He says, no, with going to different tirthas, with going around this country, I will meet with other people. I can debate. I can have a scholarly discourse with other panditas in different regions. I will have satsanga with other satpurushas there. Not only that, I will see this world, and there will be some jnana that is available from that. And as to the seva of you that you are saying, wherever, regardless of where this body is, my heart will always be at your feet. So I can do dhyana of you wherever I am. I will not stop that. I can be here, I can be on the moon. I will not stop dhyana of you. So Bhagavad Pada says, good. I was testing your resolve. If you really want to go, go. And Bhagavad Pada does a very nice upadesha here of how one should conduct oneself during Tirtha Yatra. So he says, Marge yasyanna bahu divasan pathasah sangrahi syat tasmat dosha tasmat dosho jigamishu padam tasmat dosho jigamishu pada prapti vigdha tatasyat prapya uddishtam vasa nirasanam tatra karyasya siddhehe मूलाभ्रंशोभिलषितपद मूलाभ्रंशोभिलषितपद प्राप्त्यनर्थः मूलाभ्रंशोभिलषितपद प्राप्त्यभावः अन्यथा va. So he says, don't spend too long on the road. Do not take roads that are frequented without any other travelers. So always travel in a group. Make sure that you don't go by roads which are famous for there being waylayers and thieves. Make sure that you don't spend too much time on the road, and make sure that the travel does not get in the way of your anusthana going properly. So this is why they used to say, right, don't cross the ocean, because if you cross the ocean, minimum 24 hours even by flight, you're going to lose. So Sandhya Vandana is gone then, Samhita is gone then, Agnikarya is gone then. So make sure that you don't neglect your anusthana during this. So in the olden days, there's even description of this in Mahabharata as well. So Ahitagnis, if they ever had to travel, they have a box that they will put the Agni into. So they will keep the Agni burning in a box, and they will carry that box with them. But they will not stop doing their karma just because they're on the road. So do that. And also, once you have gotten to the kshetra, do not stay there for too long outside of the purpose that you went there for. So let's say you go to Kalahasti to see Kalahasteshwara. If you go there to have darshana and leave as soon as possible. Don't sit there, go to this tiffin hotel, go to that canteen, go to this place, go to that place, sleep in the hotel for a couple of days. Don't do that. Go there for darshana, stay there for however long you need to do whatever it is that you wanted to do there and leave. If you want to go and do sadhana somewhere, you want to go, let's say, to Kashi and you want to study there for a month, go to Kashi, study there for a month, but don't stay there for any extra time outside of that month. Kshetras are not places, are not vacation spots. They are places where maharshis and tapasvis have channeled their shakti, have used their tapas, their precious time and effort to make sure to tie a devata there. So these kshetras should not be, vacation and tourism places. They should be places for us to do our sadhana. We should not corrupt the sanctity of the place by doing very mean and cheap things there outside of such things like doing Daiva Darshana, Daiva Chintana, Smarana, Adhyana, etc., Anushtana, Sadhana, etc. So all these things Bhagavad Pada instructed Padmapada. Padmapada set off on his Tirtha Yatra. So while Padmapada was off in the Tirtha Yatra, Bhagavad Pada's Yoga Drishti throbbed once, and he realized that Aryamba was ready to let go of her mortal body. So he made a promise to her when he took sannyasa. He said, I will come when you pass away and I will do your final rites. So he went from Sringeri directly to Kaladi with Yoga Shakti. And interestingly enough, first he starts to teach her on her deathbed. She says, please teach me. I'm very happy to see you. The Vidyaranya Swami writes there that Aryamba on her deathbed saw Bhagavad Pada. The darshan of Bhagavad Pada to Aryamba was like the darshan of rain clouds upon Ushara Bhumi, upon a land that needs rain, but has been dried out. So she was so happy to see her son after so long. Think of the mother's happiness. She has been hearing, your Shankara, not even Shankara Bhagavad Pada or Acharya, your Shankara has gone and written Brahmasutra Bhashyas. Your Shankara has conquered Mandana Mishra. Your Shankara has established Pithas. Your Shankara has tamed Devatas. Your Shankara has conquered Durvadins. Your Shankara has established Advaita. Your Shankara has attained the Anugraha of Sharadamba. When the mother is hearing all of this, think of the Aryamba must have lived a very bittersweet life, I'm sure, because a mother will be very happy because her son is doing so immensely well. But she will also be very sad because she has, for lack of a better euphemism, she has lost a son, right? So we can only imagine what the Purvashrama mothers of Mahasannidhanamvaru and Sannidhanamvaru went through, because for us, we gained an Acharya, but they were deprived of a son. So for a mother, there will always be that bittersweet tinge to it. But Aryamba was very happy nonetheless to see that Bhagavad Pada came to her, and she says, please make sure that I attain Sadgati. So Bhagavad Pada's single-minded, Jnana Devata Kaivalyam. So Sadgati equals Moksha equals Jnana equals Nirguna Brahma Siddhi, Sakshatkara. So he starts teaching her about Nirguna Brahman. So transcend the three bodies, transcend the three times. Gunasthatrayatitaha, tam avasthatrayatitaha, tam dehatrayatitaha, tam kalatrayatitaha. All of this he is telling. And she says, I am not understanding any of this. This is not latching in my mind. Try another way. So then he understands, okay, so Nirguna Ishvara Upasana, Amma is not ready for yet. So let me try Saguna Upasana. So he did description of Paramashiva and Vishnu. And of those two, Aryamba was more in sync with Mahavishnu, because the Devata of the Kalatik Rama is Krishna. So Aryamba had an emotional connection with Krishna. So once Bhagavad Pada described Vishnu's glory and Vishnu's Tattva and Vishnu's Vaibhava, she attained Salokya Vaikuntha. Vishnu Kinkaras came and took her. So although Yatis don't have Adhikara to do Karmakanda, because as we talked about yesterday, Sannyasis in the Shankara Sampradaya give up the Shikha and Yajnapavitas, which are the ones that have Adhikara to do Karma, which are the things that symbolize the Adhikara of Karmakanda. But because he promised her, he weighed the promise made to a mother above everything else. So he did the Karmakanda for her. And then, now that he has finished his duty to his mother, his Sishyas are all around him ready to go. He has established the Shakti of his Jnana in Sringeri as Sharadamba. He is now ready to set out for his Digvijaya Yatra, conquering all the Durvadins, conquering all the Pratipakshins of India, uniting Bharat Desha under one banner from Ase to Shitachala, and he is ready to go forth on his Vijaya Yatra, his Digvijaya. So tomorrow, on the final day, on the Purnahuti of this Pravachana Yajna, we shall discuss Bhagavad Pada's Digvijaya, the way he conquered all the other schools of thought, and the crowning moment of the Digvijaya is the Sarvajna Pitharohana in Kashmira. So tomorrow I will see you all ready to do Bhagavad Pada Smarana with those ghattas. I will stop this bhashana for here today. इत्येषा वाङ्मयी पूजा श्रीमच्छङ्करपादयोः अर्पिता तेन देवेश प्रीयतां मे सदाशिवः तव तत्त्वन्न जानामि कीदृशोऽसि महेश्वर यादृशोऽसि महादेव तादृशाय नमो नमः।